see the lower third of pick bans very, very shortly. We are still a little bit behind.
Voila.
Thank you so much, Charlie. And voila. Let's have a look. We actually have a Gragas in this game and a Zoe for Team WE.
Yeah, whatever about the left-hand side. I like the right. This is really funky on the right-hand side. So you've got a lot of range to try and play around for Suning with like the Jayce in the top lane, the Syndra mid. Got a lot of peel as well because obviously the acceleration gate will speed you up. You got Lulu, you got the Syndra to try and buy some space. Lee Sin as well can buy a lot of space. So quite a lot of this is going to be a case of a lot of poke, and when you end up trying to heavy engage on this, that's when kogmaw comes online for this composition. So super interesting draft from Suning. I'm excited to see what that's going to look like. And then in the opposite side, as you still got a little bit of range for yourself there with the Zoe and the Ezreal providing some poke, but certainly a team fighting composition from WE where they want to be trying to get in on top of Huanfeng and seeing if they can pick him off in these fights.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. We are on to the Rift for our third game of this series, our sixth game of the day, and our final game of this broadcast. As we see now, the Sett going up into the top side. Hopefully, yeah. Well, in fairness, we were just saying at the break that you Dagda have had the most unlucky of setups. You have had long ass days, pretty much.
Personally, I love 72-minute pauses. I don't know about you, but I think they're absolutely amazing. You know.
You guys did exceptional, and I will not have anyone say otherwise. You were filled like kings in those regards. And, you know, obviously at the start of the season, or the start of the split, I should say, it does seem like a couple of, just seems inevitable. We do end up getting a couple of small little issues with the tech, but hopefully they have all been rectified as we do see Elk back on this Ezreal going up against the kogmaw this time around. And the one positive thing for Elk is if he does go in aggressively, he will not be in a position to, you know, get as punished with a dive composition that was last time.
Yeah, I think here, though, we're definitely going to see what SofM is capable of, right? Because he is on the Lee Sin. When you're playing Lee Sin, you're not looking to farm. You are looking to get aggressive in the early stages of the game. So certainly, when I look towards Angel, a lot of ability there to set up some plays onto Mole when you were able to get access to that Scat of the Week. And then as well, towards Bin in the top side. Like, Breathe definitely going to be poked out. Potential here with Angel and SofM to try and make some funky plays up towards Breathe there as well. But when you look towards Beishang, he's definitely going to be trying to see if he can control this game. If you're as Beishang able to steal away a handful of camps from SofM, start to set him behind in the early stages when he's going for these aggressive plays, this Lee Sin just falls off a cliff.
Yeah, well, they know where he is, and actually Lee Sin is a little bit ahead. And I say that, though, On gets jumped on, has to flash away, but it was a flash burnt by Elk, so still a little bit of an advantage in terms of the AD carries, but he will have his arcane shift available to him. As we can see, flash belly bop, and that's missing, using the Gragas to full effect. Nothing Huanfeng could do.
That was so cool. Now, SofM, though, he's trying to see if he can answer back topside.
He is going to be able to try for something, but this is an Udyr very early on. They both get their smites down. It is SofM who has to flash away, but it's a flash bear slap right on top of your face. And that 1v1 is not the 1v1 you needed, my son.
Oh god, SofM, he tries to go for the play, and that is not it at all. Now you've got a kill going your way bot side for WE with Missing solidifying that one. Beishang as well getting that kill in the jungle top end. And again, remember what we were saying. If SofM gets put behind, he starts to fall off a cliff. And the fact now that you are already essentially just inted in your own topside jungle means that you don't get that play. Beishang, though, might be in trouble.
He might be in a little bit of trouble. There is going to be a lot of damage and a flash as Beishang gets knocked back. He will be taken down. Bin gets rewarded with his flash, and this is the kind of LPL action I love to see. All action all the time. They weren't able to get an assist onto SofM, sadly, for the side of Suning, but they will take the extra little bit of gold.
Great call from Bin, though. Shoves in that top wave and goes, right, I've got to do something to get this game back in their favor. Beishang more than likely going towards that topside scuttle, thinking, hey, look, no SofM around. But when you've got Angel with control mid and Bin able to collapse onto Beishang, they do get that turnaround play. Guaranteed SofM can get this bot lane scuttle as well. And you're in phenomenal shape here now. Well, not phenomenal, but at least a good start here for Bin with these double buffs as well to try and punish Breed even more.
Yeah, I see Breed just trying to reset this lane. They do know where Angel is, and they do know that Beishang is around the place as that ward randomly, inconspicuously got placed down as they're just trying to deny themselves the red buff. Bramble back, realizing, hey, this isn't my cubby, and goes back to his little cubby hole. Very difficult, though, for anyone on the side of Suning, I should say, to really defend this. And speaking of defending this, it's actually going to be Bin saying, I want to keep my double buffs, and gets himself all the way back to the fountain to try and keep himself alive.
He actually TPs out of that one, so wanted to get out of there lickety-split. They knew essentially once Beishang had control of this top side, that was always going to be the play. Now, SofM trying to enter back in onto this top side, but this fully belongs to Beishang and Udyr. And you can see Beishang, this is where he shines. He's super smart when it comes towards pathing and setting his opponents behind, so I wouldn't be surprised now to see him kind of take his wolves, clear into that bottom side, and then look to try and contest the respawn that are going to be coming through on this top side once again in just a few moments.
Very, very intense start to this game. You can even see with the Lulu kogmaw, typically seen as something that's an incredibly hyper late game. As you see SofM now roaming in, they may be actually trying to kill him here. Yeah, he knows he's been spotted. He needs to get the hell out of dodge. But you know, in the early game, especially with the Lulu on the the hell picks, you can do a surprising amount of poke damage if you're left to 1 or 2 auto attacks on people.
Yeah, especially because of the passive that comes through as well. Whoever picks is attached to, like, that extra damage ramps up fairly quickly. So you can definitely try to trade pretty aggressively. Now, the biggest problem for Huanfeng and On is that, like, with Beishang knowing that he's on this bottom side of the map, they're going to have to play pretty scared now, play it pretty safe, just because you already know missing. It's going to be for these big engages. But you do have to be very careful again if you look towards SofM. This is the guy that I'm actually quite worried for right now. Because watch Beishang, right? He's going to be coming out of his jungle. He is going to be running like straight in to clear this Gromp. And then you'll see the camps are about to respawn on this top side. He steals them all away again. And SofM now is basically limited to 1 quadrant of his jungle, which as a Lee Sin sets you so far behind. I mean, look at the gold lead on your screen between Beishang and SofM.
Yep, back kill and a couple of extra camps as Angel playing happy feet right now. Has used a Scatter of the Week already, as we are going to see the Bear Slap coming in. SofM is there. They will end up using the Unleash power. Bubble not available for a couple more seconds here, as we can see the Paddle Star coming in. But on the bot side, On is actually dead. On died in this little 2v2 skirmish that was happening all on its lonesome. Missing, really doing well. There's the Trouble Bubble down and Breathe. Looking to try and see if he can catch someone. He's going to look to try and catch 2. He gets 1. He's not going to be able to get out, though, because the Scatter of the Week is just too damn good. Beishang now on top of SofM. This fight is still going on as Beishang goes the long way around. He's trying to see if he can get on top of this guy. Angel will fall to an auto attack of Mole as he gets onto the Paddle Star. There is the cripple, but he's not quite able to slow him down enough. Both flashing away, and Beishang gives him the cat ears. Says, thank you very much, I'm out of here. While that was all happening, Bin was just having a final time PvE in topside.
Yeah, Bin is happy to just shove that wave in, get some plates for himself, and get a nice little bit of a gold lead running. However, on the rest of the map, it's all gone disastrously for Suning. So you end up getting the kill nicely back on towards Breathe, at least there, whereas he goes for the tower dive. Mole, a little bit unfortunate, didn't manage to connect any of the Paddle Stars. We're going to see it here in a little moment, but this is actually really good from WE. The massive gold lead that you have means that Beishang's in a much better spot. On That's not the passing you take here, especially as a Lulu. Missing again, picking up a kill for himself here. And I don't know if we'll get the full replay, but the amount of Paddle Stars Mole misses here actually is the big issue here. So Angel, despite being super low, there's a swing and a miss on both the Paddle Star and the True Shot Barrage from Elk. Then, because that happens, Mole goes too far under terror, he doesn't get to play, and they eventually take down Angel, but it takes way longer than it should have for WE.
And that does only equate to a 500 gold lead, but the pressure that you have garnered now for yourself, just being able to get those accelerated kills and getting, honestly, damage onto this, what looks like it's going to be an AP Gragas in the support role, is fantastic for the side of WE. And he still has his flash available to him. He will be able to go for those flash belly bop, soon to be level 6 as well with the explosive cast. So you've got to be so respectful now on this bot side, especially considering you don't have the wild growth just yet.
I think it's the Go-Go Gadget Extendo bot. I think we're going to get the Everfrost build. I think that's what we're going to get. And I think it's going to, like, especially in this situation where you are looking to very clearly, like, close the gap between yourself and Suning. Like, Suning are trying to play keep away between slows and kickbacks from SofM and all that nice stuff. So if you're able to have these like super long range engages coming through, like missing, using that belly bot forward, then getting the Everfrost stun, or even if you had a flash into that, like, you're basically CCing everything in line for about an entire screen. Bushing, or Penguin, sorry, you have issues with your mute button.
Yes, I am muting, but I keep forgetting to unmute. As you're probably well aware once you see my lips moving in the bottom corner or the top corner and nothing else happening. But
I mean, look, I don't know how successful a mime would be as a caster, but I'm assuming that's not what you're trying out.
I mean, sign language is a thing. I just have to be on screen at all times, which, you know, I don't really want to be. I've got a face for radio, as my mum would say, and
that's so harsh.
Moving swiftly on into the current state of this game, it was a trade of a Cloud Drake into the Rift Herald. So the Rift Herald still very much in time to take plenty of these turret plates down. And that's going to be Beishang to decide where he wants to drop down Shelly. So I wouldn't mind to see it down in bot side, just purely because you can keep this kogmaw down and get more gold into your Ezreal to get the Divine Syndra done as quick as possible.
Yeah, and I agree. I think that'll be definitely a spot where you can try and put pressure as well. Ult's been open as well for the potential for Mo to start like pushing in towards side lanes and then teetering in towards the mid lane to see if she can, or at least Mo can try and use Zoe to pick off a few people like any, like the Huanfeng if he's underneath the turret, even on as well. Like, you can have a lot of issues here as Lulu when you're behind against a composition like this, because the amount of poke that can come through, the hard engage, it becomes really difficult for On to position correctly.
Oh, speaking of difficulty, it's going to be Bin, who has a lot of issues now up in this top side. Got to keep all of his summoners there because he knows that he's dead to rights. Mole picks up that one. 2 kills for Mole on something that he is very, very comfortable with, the Zoe, and that is going to be a nice little kind of buffer to bring him back up in line with Angel, who has been farming up a storm.
Yeah, you can see there's still about 300 gold behind though for Mole in that mid lane. The 2 kills helping out nicely, should accelerate him towards the Luden's Tempest, although again, like, we have been seeing a hell of a lot of Everfrost coming in for the mid laners here, especially for the Zoes, so it's kind of a toss up in the air. It depends on what Mo's thinking, because again, we could see it kind of being used for, hey, you know, I'm going to portal in, get the Everfrost, look for the CC to allow the rest of WE to collapse, or it can just go for the pure burst build, which is trying to like pick off Huanfeng and Angel, so, or even Bin to a certain extent as well. So I think there's a big question mark for Mole here. I'm actually curious to see what he decides to go with the current state of affairs.
Very close game. It's still only 1,000 gold lead in favor of Team WE, and this is a very important series as well for both of these squads. We talked about how they're very similar in, you know, in regards to their strength of, you know, kind of their squad. It is very much something that if you get a win here, this could be a pivotal result towards the end of the split. Obviously very, very early on so far, but these are guys that we would be expecting to see in playoffs, and we saw it how important it was, you know, in the spring split of, like, you know, how much, you know, of a difference it can be between, you know, 6th and 7th, or even 8th, excuse me, where, you know, you have to pay that extra best of 5. You don't have to, you know, be prepping for 2 extra teams as such, and you can get yourself a lot better off.
I'm looking at just bringing it back into the game. Huanfeng's building this bottom lane. He's gone for the Immortal Shield Bow, so when we are looking at the potential to burst out this kogmaw, it's going to become a hell of a lot more difficult. Just the shields that are coming through from the item, plus obviously then having the Lulu beside you, it's going to make it quite difficult as
oh, there is the belly buff into the ultimate as well. That's going to be a quick kill. Now, where are you going to go? On is dead. They actually forced the teleport out of Angel. Again, he has to use the teleport to try and defensive to save his bot lane. SofM is here as well, but this turret is dead to rights. That being said, Bin is being jumped on. Bin dies. Even commits his flash to that as well. And across the map, WE are coming up trumps.
God, that was a little bit close for Breathe, but just barely able to eke out the damage to kill out Bin. And now, as he said, bot lane killed and turret going down. Top lane turning back in favor of Breathe. It really feels like W are waking up in this game. It's all or nothing for this, and with a 3.5k gold lead, WE are in a fantastic spot, especially when Breeze is able to make plays like this. Like, even when he doesn't have the haymaker. Oh, actually, just everything down. This is just pure auto attacks.
Auto attacks! It's auto attacks and an ult! That's what it was! Oh my god. That is unfortunate for Bin, and I can understand why Bin probably thought he had the advantage there. He genuinely thought, well, he's got no face breaker, he's got no haymaker, I can burst this guy down.
Yeah, unfortunate for Bin. I mean, Bin's too strong. He's a pit fighter, right? You shouldn't be going toe-to-toe with this guy, but end up getting the kill. Now, again, let's look at where this leaves us, right? Because it feels like now with this bot lane in tow, Mole can actually start to move down there, look to just try and clear out the wave. You look to see then if you can have Beishang play up towards Breed in the top side, but we'll have to wait for that all in a little bit because with Dragon up and available, WE definitely want to secure their first win of the game.
Yep, WE still hovering around this Dragon. If they can get this, it will stop a lot of the unfortunate stacking that will be going against them. It would stop that count. There is a TP available for Bin, so he's going to be able to be in this fight should he be required. There is a ward just behind everybody there, just at that tri-brush, but a smite there from Beishang to guarantee the vision. That means they've got 10 seconds without that smite. You can see the ultimate from Ezreal going wide. No one really going to go for it. Bin does TP down into the mid lane. SofM caught in the pit by himself. Beishang now just trying to fight him. Flash away by the Lee Sin. I think SofM, you got to leave this one alone. You can't go for this one. Has to back away, but now look at this. Everyone's on the wrong side. Here we go. This is going to be the start of the fight. As you can see, the Dragon Kick is going to be comboed with the ultimate there from the Syndra. Enough to take down Beishang. That is enough damage there, and Huanfeng still untouched, still looking to try and push this one forward. As we can see, missing cutoff from the rest of his team.
Yeah, Suning still chasing on, though. It's one kill going the way of Suning, and they want more. This is where it's really dangerous. They're playing this so well, kiting out the range and keeping the rest of these melee characters at bay on WE. Fortunately, Mole hasn't been able to connect onto some of these trouble bubbles, so Suning, they lose the Dragon, but they do at least get one kill back in their favor.
Yeah, mid lane turret, though, is going to be under siege at the moment. Very low health bar here on Huanfeng. As he needs to be very careful. Triple bubble does land, so you need to be very, very careful, as they do get the turret down to just above half HP. You can see the pings going down. They just saw SofM push in that bot side turret. They know they can take down this Rift Herald, and they know they can get both objectives. So in the end, a net win for the side of Team WE.
And that kind of seems to be the story of this game. Is on!
Oh, on! Gets deleted there. Nice combination. Mole even investing in the flash. You can see now Angel trying his very best just to keep everyone off of this turret. They're bleeding out so much right now. Elk starting to go real fancy feet with his arcane shifts. We know how badly that went for you in the second game, buddy. Don't be getting too cocky. They get themselves a Rift Herald and they back away.
And I mean, WE are just continuously coming out top trumps here, right? I mean, still looking at a 3,000 gold lead. This should, at least with the Rift Herald, guarantee them that mid lane push. Breathe as well, or anyone else really on WE can go and pressure onto this top side as well. Make sure they secure that after the mid lane turret goes down. And it just becomes so difficult to try and hold on to these objectives, especially as we said, look, for On, you have to be so incredibly close or careful this game. The amount of things that can insta-wipe you as this Lulu is actually scary. Like, you have got to be terrified at all points in time. And unfortunately there, even when he's on his own side of the map, he's not even safe.
Yeah, well, look at the amount of long-range poke and just CC you've got with the Zoe, the Ezreal, and even the flash belly bop coming in from missing on the Gragas. You've got so many ways of mitigating and creating opportunities for yourself as WE, whereas Suning, I feel like this Lee Sin pick has been okay. It's not been the greatest thing in the world, but we are just seeing, the Udyr just be a far stronger pick, because even when he doesn't make the move work, he's still useful at running around the map and getting into position where he needs to be.
I'm sad, Penguin. Oh, hang on. I'm gonna hold on. Maybe I'll be happy.
Maybe you'll be happy. I don't know. This seems like a pretty desperate fight here for SofM, as he's trying to go in on top of it, and the auto attacks are just too much. There was even a true shot barrage, but let me ask you now, are you still sad?
Yeah, because I was looking at Gragas' build. He's not actually going for the Everfrost, the Extendo Bop. Instead, he's just going to get up the Hextech Alternator. Probably look for the Horizon Focus at some stage, but he's going to go towards your bog standard Shirelia's build instead. It's a little bit...
It's alright. Maybe next time. you'll get lucky with that. But again, another kill going over the side of WE. That gives them a 4,000 gold lead. They drop the Rift Herald into mid lane. A minute and a half until the dragon spawns. That will be the third of the game. Second for either of these teams. And honestly, they can keep going off of this. They know that everyone just resets. They can keep going with the Rift Herald, honestly, and just look for a second turret.
Mole, if you just throw anything through that wall, you hit Angel. Ah! No, he was so close, but still.
Not quite able to hit it, but they are going to try and just put down the pain onto Angel regardless. You can see now going in SofM. Actually, he was all a bait. He wasn't going for Mole at all. He was going for Elk, and Elk is dead. SofM makes it work. And that was a nice little bait and switch there from the Lee Sin jungle.
Poor pathing from Elk. I mean, especially when you know that Mo's already been hit, you go the other way, go back towards the safety of your team, but actually gives SofM the opportunity to get that kick. And SofM, and Lee Sin, God in his own right, is never ever going to give up that opportunity.
Never going to give you up, never going to let you down. That's what SofM saying.
But he did turn him around.
Did turn him around, put him right into the face of every single person on the enemy team, but again, a little bit of an unfortunate moment there for Elk, kind of, as I said, poor pathing, and this is not done and dusted. This is the thing we talked about in the game 2. You know, it felt like in game 2 it was over. It was set up. It was, you know, WE going to be taking the game, no problems whatsoever. But Suning have found opportunities. Suning have found mistakes. And Suning have been able to drag the game back. You see SofM now rolling towards this backside of the pit. He's not trying to see if he can catch someone out. He's not been spotted just yet. They will have an idea, I imagine, that he's going to be somewhere on this bot side, but I don't think they're going to be able to contest this on the side of Suning unless they go for a Miracle Steal.
No, they're not going to try to. So WE will get a dragon for themselves, 2 to their name right now. And unfortunately for Suning, even though they're getting these picks and they're slowing down the pace of the game, oh my god.
Did he steal that? He bloody did. God
steal it.
Damn it.
But look, this is the thing, is that like, Suning, yes, they are like finding a pick, but they're not getting the dragons. They're not getting control of the jungle. They're not actually getting an opportunity to come back. And this game is on. No, buddy, please. No.
I'm sorry, buddy. He might be dead. Yep, he's almost certainly going to be going down. Oh, the Paddle Star, he's not actually willing to put that in, but that does mean a flash invested, and it does also see that the top side of the map for Suning is completely not their own. They need to secede that. They need to concede it and go back down towards this bot side where they have SofM and Bin pushing in that bot side.
So let's take a quick look at where we're at, right? Because we are obviously 22 minutes into the game. You're looking at like that Divine Sunder Muramana completion for Elk, super strong. Mole has completed his Luden's Tempest, didn't go for the Everfrost, so he's actually churned out a hell of a lot of damage, especially when he'll be able to finish the Horizon Focus. Going to be so damn strong against this composition that Suning has. And you look at the rest of the kind of tanks on the squad, like 312 for Breed, Steric's Gage finished. He's totally fine to tank up a lot of this damage that's going to be coming through from Suning. So for WE, especially with the amount of control they have on the map, if they can force Suning to try and face check into them for these objectives, they can quickly turn this game into a victory. For Suning though, you're still waiting on some of these key items to be completed, like the rest of these items to come through for kogmaw, something like a Wit's End or something along these lines, just to keep them safe from the mixed damage from Mole and Elk. And also for Angel, who still has to complete his second item.
We see posturing towards this mid lane. Something to very much notice as well is that there is no turret taken at all by Suning. They are playing basically half of the map 100% at their side. There is no way they can look for anything outside of that. As we see Elk maybe going to get caught out here, but it's actually Mole who soaks up all of the damage through that Zhonya's beautiful stopwatch to stop absolutely everything. And that might spell a Baron bait right now for WE. They got a lot of those big cooldowns out.
Yeah, it was a really nice attempt from SofM, but as he said, baited and outsmarted. Mole goes invincible, absorbs all that damage, and now
he has to cleanse. Yep, has to cleanse. That's going to be a summoner down. That's going to be Breathe with free reign in this boss side. He's going to be answered by in a second, but you're looking at Team WE. They're going to be able to take all these camps. They own pretty much the top and bot sides of the jungle of Suning's team. And it's just so difficult for Suning to get anything going for them. Oh my god. On. Oh my god, he has to use it. He had to use the Wild Growth. If he did not, he was dead to rights by another True Shot Barrage Paddle Star combination. But This is so difficult now for Sunny. They haven't got their Lulu for a couple of seconds. They've also lost the wild growth to keep the kogmaw safe. A lot of things down if they want to try and go for a fight.
At this stage, though, it's really hard to do so. On obviously having to use that wall growth himself leaves Huanfeng incredibly vulnerable if WE are able to close that gap. You still have Flash on Breed, the Strike Breaker, million one ways to actually try and close that gap. So for Sunny, they have to kind of take a step back and readjust their game plan once again. A minute and a half until this next dragon. It will put WE onto Soul Point if they can pick that one up. But when you're looking at a 6,000 gold deficit, Sunny, they need to come up with something and some way to slow the onslaught that WE have.
Yeah, coming up towards those 3-item power spikes here, you can see there the Horizon Focus just been finished up there from Mole. So he is going to be doing even more damage. And you're yet to see a fully completed item for On. This is the kind of the unfortunate bit about supports and enchanters right now, is that you die very quickly, and if you don't have items, you just don't become anything in this game. It's so oppressive to deal with. And I think WE have done a fantastic job of just abusing that fact throughout this entire mid-game.
Well, it was a mistake in the early stages that let Missing go for that play bot side. Then we also got the kill on top for W. It felt like, honestly, W have been in control for the get-go of this game. Now, though, they're looking to try and move that over towards Dragon. Even with the Guardian, that's a lot of damage off of Huanfeng's health bar. And Huanfeng has the Rage Knife. He's trying to get to the Rage Blade, but he's so far away from actually being able to hard carry these fights. And WE are on that, put Sunny on that clock to stop them from being able to get to a stage where kogmaw can do this.
Yeah, they found out the Angel Bin covert mission to try and catch people out. Beishang, though, might be in a little bit of trouble. Actually, they kind of know where Angel is. I feel like they're just trying to find out exactly where to go. There he is. He's going to get caught out. Nowhere for him to go. Missing says, thank you. I'm going AP gragas after my Shirelias. That's going to put WE onto the Soul Point, Mountain Soul Point for them. And again, one team fight away from a massive victory here in this series.
This is not looking good for Sunny. I mean, look, we are, of course, as we said, they have that late game skill. But again, if you're WE here, you've just picked up Dragon, you already have a bunch of vision in this top side, they're going for the pick.
Oh, they found him. There's the flash, but Beishang flashes over as well. They're going to keep following this one on. Just about gets himself out alive, but now that you know that all these different things are down, SofM is on the top side, but they know exactly where he is. Mole might be in a little bit of trouble, still has his own flash available to him, which he'll have to use and get himself into the Baron pit, and I don't think they can go for this Baron now, considering how low the mid laner of WE is.
No, Mole taking way too much damage, well, actually tried to kind of 1v1 SofM there, which is never a good idea when Lee Sin's able to have that Gore Drinker, has so much backup that's going to be on the way as well, and means WE are forced away. Even though they pushed on back, they're not able to translate that into anything. So again, WE not quite closing out in the manner that they would have hoped. All that vision control is now gone from that topside jungle as well, so we need to see them now push in again, get that control once more. It takes a long time for WE now to try and set up correctly for this Baron, and at that stage, you've got that Dragon that's going to be up and available again.
Yeah, it's got so much to be able to kind of go for now for Team WE. You've got so many ways of pushing forward and creating advantages and creating your own kind of setups, as we see now. Angel might be in a little bit of trouble. He did get trouble bubbled, but there is the Mikhail's blessing there straight away to stop him from getting caught down. That's a big item point now for the Lulu. Actually has some kind of agency to be able to save her carries from getting caught out from these bubbles.
It also kind of saves On as well. You can Mikhail's yourself if you get the timing right just as the bubble's about to hit, but it does take a little bit of finesse on that. Now here though, we're getting again. SofM gets hit by the bubble, they back away, but look at where WE are. Like, if you actually have this engage as Sunny, there's a long way from home for the rest of WE to try and help you out now. I'm getting a little bit nervous here, Paul.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know, this feels very reminiscent of Game 2, where WE kind of went for a couple of weird engages and got caught out and weren't able to finish off the game. This time around, though, they have got a couple of bigger or smaller cooldowns to be able to keep themselves safe. SofM finding himself face-to-face with a man-bear. Beishang just trying to clear out the vision. They have not got Elk or Breed here. Elk here just to take away this blue buff and keep himself nicely topped up before we head into either a Baron or a Dragon fight in the next 2 and a bit minutes.
This is all about controlling this top side. Beishang?
Beishang gets caught, but I don't think SofM realized that there were still people around there looking to try and get something down. In fairness, the Dragon's Rage kick is such a low cooldown at this stage. He should be totally fine to be able to do that. That being said, though, Beishang has got the bear slaps for days. And
He's
able
angry.
to keep the pressure on. He is. Yeah.
You
so
kick me, I punch you.
Yeah, it's like
But now, look, WE have control of this top side. They're going to be able to push in. SofM forced to back off, but they have so much siege potential with this composition that they're going to be able to push in. Now, Huanfeng, though, coming up to clear the wave.
Ooh, there's the explosive cast used there very offensively, but not able to quite catch anybody out, which means we should see a reset coming in here for Team WE. And they should be able to get themselves back on the map, spend the gold, and go for that dragon in a minute.
So
20 seconds.
here's the thing, though. Look at the items that are coming through. Huanfeng has finished that Guinsoo's Rage Blade, especially when you're paired with a Lulu. That is absurd amount of damage that you can churn out. So Huanfeng now has kind of hit that critical mass point where you have to be careful. Observers clearly a little bit bored as we follow the auto attack all the way back to the base.
No,
missing.
it ruins the home guards. Tactical decision, Summoner, as they now move forward and see if they can catch someone out. Beishang has got a hell of a lot of tank items. He's going to be pretty damn hard to burn down, even with the 3 items onto the kogmaw. But should the kogmaw be able to plant his feet, put down those auto attacks, he should be huge. Oh, excuse me. Randomly
the big
got
thing
caught
that
out by a sneeze.
Oh, not quite able to connect the bubble. But again, though, I'm keeping my eyes on Huanfeng in this fight. If Huanfeng can get into a position where he's safe and Suni can keep members of W off him, he's going to be in totally fine. But you can see there, missing pops the Shirelli as they were trying to have the go button for WE, but a great slow from On just shuts that down in place. Now, though, SofM clearing out vision, using the mobility that this Lee Sin has to try and keep WE in check, forced to move away from Beishang there. As Penguin keeps sneezing,
Apologies.
I will continue.
I keep
Breathe.
sneezing.
Yeah, breathe. Here, it's
Are
going to
you
be
telling me to breathe, or you're telling Breathe is on the dragon?
everyone take a big old breath of fresh air, because this has been an intense set of games, and I know for one I've been kind of tensing here waiting for something to happen, but now WE, they just get this Mountain Soul for completely free. Suning didn't even try to contest. They're more situated around this Baron, and now that's a massive win for WE.
Yeah, huge win. You look at the people who are looking to try and burst you out, the Jayce, the Syndra, they just don't have that kind of damage anymore, and they do still have it, but they just not going to be as impactful with it. And you can see there, WE, after taking the dragon, just going to try and clear all these wards. Look at these! Look at the amount of wards! There's so many wards on the screen right now, but they're all going to be cleared out eventually by the side of Team WE, because they know that they are in control, they have the power. Serelda's Grudge has been finished off here for Ezreal as well, so they are in a position to be able to just take these fights and face check a couple of these pushers.
At some stage, WE will realize that they can play side lanes, and they're actually able to, try and push in these waves, create pressure on the map for Suning to deal with. But right now, we are all in on just A-ramming in mid. They do get that dragon, which is going to be super nice. But again, I want to see more from WE. Like, if we have our top teams, they're so much stronger at being able to use the fact that they can push in mid, then group towards this top side. Have the fact that you've got already Breathe on this bot lane to try and create pressure elsewhere, but unfortunately for WE, they actually just haven't been able to utilize the map as well as they should. Now, SofM again, hiding in this jungle with Beishang, who wants to contest red.
SofM wants to contest red. He's just going to try and get in behind Beishang, who just gets himself away. Yeah, like you said, I didn't think LCS was starting for another 8 hours, but only mid lane today in this particular game as everyone just tries to get priority. There is a big, big bubble, and that's going to start the fight. That's going to end the game. You have 2 kills now onto Elk. Huanfeng's in a lot of trouble. He gets his Immortal Shield Bow pop, but he's immortal no more. He is dead to rights, and everyone going to jump onto it. Blink and you missed it. Everyone ends up going down, even the little Acathian surprise being enough to take a little bit of a kill kill on the back end of it. But with 5 kills, excuse me, the full ace, the only one dropping missing, is going to mean that the game goes over to WE. They take their first win, and they are going to start the season off on the right foot.
It was long, it was drawn out, it was arduous against Suning, but WE will find their first victory of the split, and a lot of it coming off of the carry performances coming through from Jomung and Breathe, and that man in the mid lane, Mo.
Fantastic start to the season here, and another 2-1 here. Similar situation, I feel, for Suning as it was for BLG earlier. You gotta win these games, you know, like these are 2 very close games that have just not gone your way, and now you're sitting at 0-2 starting off the split. Definitely some stuff to figure out there, but their next set of games should be a little bit easier for them. They play against Ultra Prime next week, I believe next Friday, and then I do believe they play against BLG in the Sunday as well. So we'll see how they're able to kind of transition from this pretty disastrous week 1 here for Suning.
Yeah, whereas when you look across at WE, this was the real first test, right? They go up against Suning, now they got TT, V5 on the way before they face off against FPX. So a little bit more time to try and get themselves in order, get them, like, what was a very, very tough series, kind of wipe the sweat off and recalibrate where they want to be.
Great win there for WE. Of course, in their new home stadium, looks fantastic, and Xi'an always like to bring it to a home crowd, and they will be looking to see how far they can go in the summer split. Of course, still very, very early on. Still a couple of issues with WE. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. Definitely some mid to late game shot calling issues I feel they need to address. But I think the positives we can take from this is that Mo looks fantastic. I think that Elk, Jomung into Elk now has looked very, very solid. Seems to be shoring up a couple of his crazy plays, and definitely seems to be more positive going into the rest of the split.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, definitely some of the late to mid game shot calling not looking so hot. I think a lot of over aggression sometimes as well coming in from Mole, especially we saw in game 2 with the Sett pick. But I think overall, I mean, it's a win on the board for WE, and for a team that we've heard a lot about who are, struggling behind the scenes, I think it's really good to see that on the stage they are still able to perform. The individual performances were fantastic, especially as we talk about Elk, MVP of game 1, great performance on the Ezreal here in game 3. Beishang as well doing a phenomenal job in the early stages to control SofM and shut down this Lee Sin pick before it could really have an impact in any of the lanes.
Yeah, you can see just the kind of damage there. Huanfeng was no, couch potato. He was definitely able to kind of do as much as he can, but I feel like On just getting caught out consistently by these, trouble bubbles and even by the belly bops. It just made it very difficult for Huanfeng to really position anywhere that the kogmaw could just plant his feet and do the damage he needed to do.
Yeah, and unfortunate, it's just kind of the way things go with the Lulu, right? When you've got this crazy long range, there's not really much you can do. You're going to get caught out. There's going to be trouble bubbles that are coming over the wall. Nowhere is safe, and it's why we said in the early stages that you have to be insanely safe as On, but unfortunately, as a support, you kind of have to put yourself in danger to get that vision. And you could see in a lot of situations, SofM was on the completely opposite side of the map as On had to try and go and get this vision for himself. So it was either a case of damned if you do, damned if you don't. And either way, it's Suning that kind of took the brunt of it.
Yeah, it feels like it was Suning kind of saying, damn, nothing really we can do about that one. And we're going to see, of course, we got the MVP from Game 3. It was Mole who picks up his first new MVP on top of Team WE. Honestly, with the triple bubbles he hit, thoroughly deserved.
Yeah, did a phenomenal job at actually being able to pick off some of these core carries, forcing On back in a lot of those situations so that WE could gain space on the map, gain a little bit of time when it came towards getting to the objectives. It really did turn around a lot of this. And again, it's Mole, outperforming his opponents on his signature pick, which has been this Zoe.
Yeah, honestly looked fantastic and a great start for him. Definitely had a rough game too. Really did not respect the proper kind of counter, as you like, that you do get when you go as a Sett into a Lucian, and was hard punished for it. But great start for him. Good signs for the side of Team WE. But for Suning, they need to kind of come up. Again, they had good signs. I think like SofM is still a fantastic jungler, but this was just not his day. He really wasn't really kind of like in the position to kind of set himself up. It felt like he just kind of was a little bit off. I don't expect that to last forever. I expect the next series, or even, you know, maybe even the next one after that, depends on how long the slump lasts, he should be back into SofM 4.